The Absolute Idiot Podcast.
Hi, I'm James.
And I'm Arman.
And we are the
Absolute
Idiots. Ooh, perfect sync.
Awesome,
and a lovely high G that we hit there. Wow. Guys, we're right on time. It's podcast time. If you didn't look at your inbox, it's podcast time. You checking the time? You see why this is in your inbox? It's podcast time. And
totally on time, totally sharp and ready on that clock.
The clock has been hit, and you know what else is being hit right now? I'm hitting right now is the button. You know what button it is, James?
No, what button are you hitting?
It's the guest button. Bam, bam, bam. I've got a guest. There's a guest now.
Why is your button
should
so
be a guest.
resistive? You're like bam, bam, bam.
I had to press it really hard. I was worried.
Okay.
I was worried the guest wouldn't come. But I think the guest is on time. Hi, guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I have a lot to say about time. So I'm gonna talk about that.
You know why? Guest who still hasn't introduced themselves?
Yeah, my name is hi. Yes, hello. My name is Colin, also known as Roach. Some people call me XBL apparently because that's
some people call you Jake. But you know what? They're wrong. Your name's not Jake.
I'm Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, sorry. I'm going by my alter ego, Colin, nowadays. More fitting title.
And let me tell you, Colin wants to talk about time so badly. And you know why that is, James?
No.
You know why that is, Colin? I mean, you do, but no, you don't. Because today's topic is actually speedruns. And not only speedruns, but just the world of esports. Just video gaming outside of just gaming for pleasure. You're gaming for Realz now.
Competitive gaming.
As three gamers in here, we know what it's like to game for Realz. Realz with a Z. Realz with a Realz.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That one didn't fly, I will admit.
I think it was
really
flying great. The comments are going crazy for that one. The comments are loving it. If you love that, put in the comments below. We love engagement. I mean, we love comments. We love hearing from you.
I thought you said we love engaging. I was like, oh, now everyone's getting married.
We love getting engaged, and the three of us are actually getting engaged today. It's an engagement speedrun.
Don't love getting engaged. I think you probably shouldn't be getting engaged, but that's my personal opinion for another time.
Our next podcast topic is going to be engagements. So look. Maybe you don't know why we're gamers. What are your guys' experience with? I don't know why I said that. What are your guys' experience with speedruns? I guess we'll start with speedruns because I think that's a recent thing, or a more recent thing for most of us than esports is. I know Colin has had recent experiences with both, which is why he's the perfect guest for this topic. James, what's your speedrunning esports experience? What stands out to you when you think? What do you think?
Yeah, so I've definitely been a speedrunning fan for it's been like a really long time. At least since middle school.
Yeah, I think you've been the longest speedrunning follower out of all of us.
Yeah, I've been following speedrunning for a long time. Recently, speedrunning has in the past few years, speedrunning has kind of exploded into mainstream popularity, and I'm really happy for that. But I've just been following it for a while, and I'm not a huge world record contender of various different games or whatever. I just
But you do follow quite a bit. Even if you're not running.
I follow the overall community and several different games a lot, and I mean, sometimes I try to beat games as fast as I can just for fun, but I don't really I'm not a huge competitor. I really just like watching. And
What's your favorite? What's like the speed running that got you into speed runs?
Oh, it's really been so long. Like I can't remember.
What's like the
I
one
think
that stands out to you the most then? Like if you had to pick like one speed run that you were like, this is it. This is the opus maximus. Is that the word? Opus
I think
whatever.
I think for me that speedrun would probably be Super Mario Odyssey.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I've been following the Super Mario Odyssey speedrunning scene since it came out, actually.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, when it first came out, a lot of my favorite like speedrunners took a crack at it because it's a hot new Mario game. Lots of
Yeah, of
people want
course.
to try it, and it's had a really interesting journey because like in the first few weeks when it came out, most like any percent runs would be, and that's where you just try to beat the game as fast as possible without any
Right.
restrictions. It'd be like around 1 hour and 5 minutes. I would say that was like the average. And then slowly over the course of like a month or two, they were like dropping down to like 1 hour ish, 1 hour, 1 minute ish.
Yeah.
And I remember just like at the time it was so like the idea of sub 1 hour in the game was such a huge like holy grail of like just speedrunning in general for a while, with like a ton of top runners trying for like many hours a day to get that, and then it was finally achieved, and I thought that was like the biggest like craziest thing in the world, just like some super crazy gameplay to get to sub 1 hour, and now the record stands.
Sorry, go on.
Now the record stands at like 57 minutes, which is like.
Yeah, way.
If you told me it would get down to 57 minutes, like around the time like that sub hour happened, I would not have believed you. It's just really like if you ever watch a Super Mario Odyssey speedrun, it's a
great run.
Yeah, it's just pure like top level gameplay for an entire hour too.
Oh yeah.
So really crazy stuff.
And Colin, I know you have recently been speedrunning a game on your Twitch.
Yeah.
What game is that? Is it Mario Odyssey? Are you the world record holder for Mario Odyssey?
No. I don't. So I speedrun the Batman Arkham games. Currently, I have the console. We gotta make this clear. The console world record for 100%ing Arkham Asylum without glitches. So the
glitchless,
category is
100% run.
glitchless. And I'm not like James, where the gameplay isn't really the thing that makes the speedrun hard. It's the fact that I have to know the locations of 240 collectibles and make sure the route is the best it can be. It's really more of a mental game than actual gameplay. There is still those gameplay aspects, but I don't have to rely on those so heavily. As long as I know.
There's a lot of, I think, it's interesting because as someone who's seen, I guess, both speedruns, I haven't seen the full, most recent world record for Mario Odyssey, but I watched one of the first sub-hour ones. But it's like a very different speedrun because I was in Colin's stream when he got the console 100% glitchless world record.
Did you get it verified?
I'm just talking. I'm gonna go for another one. So I looked at my time and I was like, I can get sub 3 hours and 10 minutes if I just don't die. So I'm just gonna go for it again and submit that one.
Yeah.
Because I'll be in the top 5 with these PCs, and having for that game specifically, I don't have a PC that I can play it on. And it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. Actually.
Yeah, it's very, very different.
I imagine
a lot more techniques you can do on keyboard and mouse that I can't.
I also imagine it's less laggy, or load times are shorter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a crash in the middle of this.
Yeah.
Too.
Colin had a crash.
The first time my game ever crashed for that specific one, and I was like, awesome.
Nice.
Does that mean my run's invalid? It shouldn't be, but
it's a very different run. Because Odyssey is like, you gotta make this jump, you gotta do this, and I think there are interesting parallels, I guess, because there are certain like boss fights where like you got to make it to a certain place in a certain like just like with weird like frames of locations, but I guess for Odyssey there's a lot more, I guess, just like there's movement is a lot bigger, a much bigger thing in the Odyssey speedrun than it is in the Arkham run.
The boss fights aren't even like that. It's only the Scarecrow fight because he just sees you. That's the only big one where I have to essentially rely on RNG. And I like speedrunning games that don't have a ton of RNG. I know speedrunning...
Understandable.
I know... Well, yeah, if you see me play Cuphead, the very little RNG that's in that, I get terrible RNG. But I know speedrunning took a big, take because of Dream, like that situation, which we won't get started on because I know James has a lot to say.
Yeah, James, fucker.
I mean,
but they literally broke down the math, and I'm all like, I don't want to play a game where you have to break down the math to tell me if my run's legit or not. I'd rather just play a game that isn't RNG dependent.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the majority of the speedrunning community, and me personally as well, would agree with you. I think most people really like just like running one thing where you know exactly what's going to happen, but you just have to do everything exactly correctly with minimal RNG.
Yeah, but as long as you have fun too. So like, Minecraft I know is a big one because the fact that it's not the same every time actually adds fun to the speedrun, which is nice. I know a lot of people are starting to pop off on Twitch that are becoming new Minecraft speedrunners. I know that's the biggest topic, but also I like speedrunning. I like speedrun categories for a bunch of other games, such as Dead by Daylight. There's actually speedrun categories.
Really? What's the speedrun of that?
The tutorial.
Oh.
And I think the world record's like 4 minutes or something like that.
That's really funny.
I saw Google Solitaire was one, seconds, or no, 24 seconds, one of the two, which I found really funny.
Honestly, like any game out there, it most likely has a speedrun.
Or at least a category.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also like streaming games that don't have a ton of viewing, so that was kind of the perfect one for me. It's a speedrunning game that I enjoy, that I can do, and doesn't have a ton of popularity on Twitch anymore, so that's why it's a perfect game for me. I know Arman, though, is in a category that I am going to try eventually, which is the Lego category.
I did. Yeah, I mean, before I even, like, I wouldn't say I'm a huge speedrunning fanatic. I would say I'm probably less into... I have wanted to start doing it more recently, just because I've been inspired by you, Colin, and just by, like, again, James is correct, that there's been a big, like, boom in the whole speedrunning concept recently. And I wanted to try Breath of the Wild runs. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere near...
Aren't Breath of the Wild runs like several hours long?
Yeah, they're very long as well. I'm used to running long games, to be honest. But no, I would rather do it just because I remember, James, you told me this a long time ago, which is that speedrunning games like allows you to enjoy them once you've already played them like a bunch of times. Like once you're done, like you've seen every Easter egg, you've done all the story stuff, you've noticed every cutscene, every item in the game you've collected. Like, speedrunning really is a good way to keep enjoying that game.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people like, I think a lot of people have like, well, in general, a lot of people don't understand speedrunning that well, and like are like, why would these people just spend like hundreds of hours in these games doing the same thing over and over?
Right.
And one thing I hear a lot is like, oh, speedrunners like just don't care about the game they're playing. All they care about is the speed and like getting number one. But that's like that couldn't be farther from the truth, you know. Almost every speedrunner that almost any top speedrunner of a game like speedruns it because they love the game so much that like they did everything they could in the game, and like, you know, they were just looking for more ways to enjoy it, and speedrunning was that like perfect way to just keep playing the same game and have a new goal.
Right.
Once you've exhausted every other goal you have, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
especially
yeah. Sorry, go on, Colin.
especially Batman. There's not much to do after you beat the story and the side missions. There really isn't. Especially Arkham Asylum. There's the main story, and then there's the Riddler challenges, and that's it. That's the game. That's
Yeah.
that's game of the year in 2009. So, yeah, it gives you something else to do, and also it takes a while to even learn because I do 100% runs, so those take a while to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So you're learning on top of the fact that you're trying to beat your own time and whatnot. So yeah, it gives replayability, a lot of it.
Yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say I used to speedrun Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4 a long time ago when I was very very young. Uh, I never had like a run like officialized or anything. I didn't have any way to record it other than like I guess a computer pointed at my Wii. So I never got it officially, but I did. I think I did on my own just like beat a record at the time, which has since it's been like halved. I would say people started developing way new techniques and they started using multiple controllers at once. There's crazy new skips. I don't think I ever did like any glitches. But yeah, it's very again, it's not as much Mario Odyssey's technical, well, not even technical, but just like great platforming and use of your platforming resources. But it's like knowing a path, nailing the path, not letting any obstacle like get in your path, that sort of thing. And I think again, it speaks to the thing that like any game could be speed can have a speed run for it. Like the solitaire, like that's ridiculous. That's crazy that people just speed run Google Solitaire. Like that's awesome. I think that's freaking awesome. I don't know about you guys, but that's just like amazing to me. I love that.
yeah.
The Dead by Daylight tutorial got me.
Yeah, the Dead by Daylight. That's just like that's wacky. That's fun and wacky. I like that a lot.
But yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I mentioned Super Mario Odyssey earlier, and that's like very like tech and movement heavy, and
Yeah.
that is what I mostly enjoy about the game. But I mean, there's so much that goes into speedruns that like is super cool to me. Like Colin mentioned, like routing can definitely not be understated. Like as much as like crazy techniques and movements are important to speedrunning, like something as basic as like routing, which people don't even like think about that much when they're watching a speedrun, is super super integral. Because like obviously if you're just like going about everything in a random order, you're gonna lose a ton of time. And I think it's really interesting, like the crazy routes that people develop and come up with, and also like the tricks used in speedrunning. Like there's so many like interesting discoveries that are found in games like every year that would not have been found unless there was like a dedicated community looking for these glitches.
Ways to manipulate the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like like today, I was just while we were waiting
Setting
for
up,
the
setting up. While we were setting up.
setting up. I was I was on our speedrun, and today somebody pulled off this insane trick in the original Paper Mario game, where, well, it's really complicated, but basically what happens is they try to like they try to set up code within the game to like teleport to the credits. And the way they set up the code is by like using Ocarina of Time to like set up code in certain areas where you can't in Paper Mario, and then switching back to Paper Mario to execute that code and then go to the credits. It's really, really insane.
Huh. That's so weird.
Yeah. And it's just like so many crazy discoveries in all of these games, both old and new.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's like pretty much the three biggest things, like the tricks, like movement or inputs, and routing that is like really cool to me about speedrunning.
Oh yeah.
And just generally like how much hard work people put into these speedruns. Because like even for mostly obscure games, like let's say for example you just play some like random obscure game, and you're like, oh, there's probably nobody that speedruns this game, right? And then you look it up, And like
And
maybe
like
there's only
30 attempts or something.
Yeah. Or maybe there's only like 2 or 3 people that play it, but
Yeah.
like you're like, oh yeah, they probably just like played it a little fast and then beat the game, and then you like watch the speedrun. It's just like crazy, like way better than you could like do ever. It's just like, yeah, just watching a speedrun just really humbles your own gameplay. In my opinion.
I was just looking at because I've been playing a lot of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity recently, and I was just looking at speedruns for that. I was like, what could these be like? And I was like, oh, like 7 hours? I could totally like do that. I looked at my playtime. I have 34 hours in the game. I haven't even like gotten halfway through the story. And to be fair, I do all the side missions. Like I do every single side mission before I move on to the story. But still, like I definitely was like, I could totally beat that. I have actually so much time in the game, and I have not even gotten close to finishing it. So yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
So here we go. I looked up Breath of the Wild because you mentioned the legend. So I looked at the 100% speed run.
Oh yeah, the 100%
world
is so
record
long.
for that. Yeah, the world record for that is 18 hours and 26 minutes.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in Breath of the Wild.
And there's a record, and like it goes up to 68 hours. Like I'm seeing times that are 24. Well, you're allowed sleep breaks, by the way. That is a thing.
Oh, that's nice.
And this is, you get every single shrine, all 76 side quests, the Xenoblade quest.
Yep.
Yeah, all the memories.
All the Koroks.
Yep.
And you hear things like, you hear like 18 hours and you're like, wow, that's so long. Like what a long speedrun. But then you think about it, you're 100%ing Breath of the Wild. Like if you've ever played Breath of the Wild, you probably took like, I don't know. Well, I've never played, but I would estimate at least 50 or 100 hours.
I have 100%ed it, and I can look at my hours and see how long it's taken me. And I'm trying to 100% it, by the way. It's not like I'm not. Let's see. Breath of the Wild, I have played for about 200 hours.
Yeah, like there you go. So like even these super long speedruns that you're like, oh, that must be like super unoptimized. Like you think about it and it's still like compared to a regular playthrough, it's just insane. Just super insane.
So much.
Yeah, and I'm starting to learn the 100% to Batman Arkham Knight, and the world record is 8 hours, and I have to learn 243 locations, all the side mission locations. So it takes time. These are people doing 18 hours with their brain working at 100%. Making sure you don't forget a single thing, because you can't just look it up in the middle of the run.
Yeah, you lose a ton of time doing that.
Yeah, I don't know if Breath of the Wild has RNG aspects, really, but
I think for the 100% run, yes, but not as much for the for the regular, just like any percent run. It's less RNG and more like, can you precisely do these glitches or these tactics? Because like the new runs have this thing where you can glitch into each shrine instead of entering them, and it takes less time than actually going through the cutscenes of going into the shrine and stuff. But it's not like, it's a very precise thing. Like you have to find like the right angle and be walking at it the right way, and so if you mess that up, it's going to take a lot more time than if you just went in regularly. But if you get it, that's sick. But it's not like a super easy, like, okay, I know how to do it now, I'm just going to do it every single time. It's a harder thing to do than that.
Yeah, sure. Batman Arkham City, which is the game I can't play because it just constantly crashes. There is a thing where you can go out of bounds of the map and it's very complicated, because once you're out of bounds, if you can't get back inbounds, your game will just, you won't be able to load back into the normal world. So it's like this void. But it's like a complex button combination crap like that, and it just saves you like 2 seconds compared to just doing it half the
That's
time.
nuts.
And it is nuts because half the time it doesn't even work. So you're going into this 2-second time save, like doing 100% run with 400 Riddler challenges, and you're all like, okay, I don't even know if and this is like people with a world record of 3 hours in like 18 minutes. So those 2 seconds, you're risking. There's a lot of risk for no reason, in my opinion.
2 seconds can be huge in a run.
But yeah, I mean, like, some top level runners, they'll like, you have to take everything you can get, no matter like how small it is. Like, like a great example of that is 120 star in Super Mario 64, because that game is like pretty much one of the most, if not the most popular speed game of all time.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have tried to get the 120 star record, and obviously, it's the game has been out for a long time, so the record is very, very optimized. And like, I just remember like watching some of the runs, and they're like, there's like this huge crazy sequence of tricks, and then they're like, oh yeah, that just saves like 5 seconds or 10 seconds,
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Or like a bunch of little things that only save like 0.2 seconds over the course, many times over the course of the run, and they still obviously go for it, because that's what you have to do to compete for world record.
Oh yeah. It's a very, I think a lot of people who do feel like, oh, why would you speedrun? Like you're not enjoying the game for the sake of the game. It is, I would say, you're not really playing, you're not playing the game, I guess, as it was intended, obviously. Obviously, if there's a story, like you're not paying attention to that. You're not,
well, unless it was a game like made for speedrunning, like Celeste, for example.
Yeah, no, okay, like Spelunky, or I think even Hat in Time has a lot of speedrunning stuff in it. But I think when you are speedrunning, you've either enjoyed all of that already, and now you just want to play the game more, but you want to not have it just be what you've already done, probably a lot, or it was just a run that you like loved. Like, it's like, I'm sure there's people who have picked up games and just been like, I just want to speedrun this because the run looks fantastic. And those people probably are more into, like, I don't think anybody has never played a video game in their life and then been like, actually, I'm just going to speedrun Ocarina of Time right now. Like, I don't think anybody's really doing that, but definitely, like, people are not paying attention to the story or being like, oh, it's my favorite NPC, let's stop and talk to them or whatever. It's definitely...
You're like, nah, I'm antisocial.
Yeah, exactly. What was it? I called it the antisocial run in your Batman stream, because you just skip through...
Don't talk to anybody.
Yeah, you just skip through all the dialogue. You were just mashing through dialogue. I was like, this is the antisocial...
Oh no, it's worse than Batman Arkham Knight, because like he loads like the people onto his wrist, and I just skip through all that. I'm just like, don't talk to me.
That's amazing.
I was like, Oracle, I don't care if you're dying, okay? I got time. I gotta save these 3 seconds.
Something also worth mentioning, in my opinion, is tool-assisted speedruns. Obviously, these are very different than. If you don't know what tool-assisted speedruns are, they're basically like when people use external tools, like not as in like cheat codes, but like slowing down the game, or like
the Ocarina of Time glitch for the Mario 64 you were talking about.
No, that was done in real time.
Okay. Gotcha.
But like just stuff like inputting a certain, like you're able to like program a certain sequence of inputs for the game to run, and so you're like theoretically able to like do a perfect run of the game
Was
using.
that the Dream Dilemma? Was that what the Dream Dilemma?
No. This is
Okay.
different.
Okay. I know that speedrun.com, which is really the only notable website that I know of for speedrun records, ban those, or at least they try to.
Yeah, so tool-assisted speedruns are different than regular speedruns. The speedruns that are hosted on speedrun.com are like done in real time by like humans, but tool-assisted speedruns are just they're like hosted on their own thing. I believe the main hub for tool-assisted speedruns is called taskvideos.com or something. But they're obviously recognized as completely different than regular speedrunning because, with regular speedrunning, you're prone to human error.
Right.
But with tool-assisted stuff, you can just if you do something wrong, you can just go back 1 second and say, okay, let's press B on this frame instead of A, and then you'll get a faster time. And that results in, quote unquote, theoretically perfect speedruns where you do every single hard trick imaginable, even those that are literally impossible for humans to pick up because you have to mash A at 30 frames a sec, 30 times a second or something like that. And some of them are just super crazily cool because they break down the game. Well, some speedruns also do this, but some tool-assisted speedruns just completely break down the game to ways that you don't even recognize it, and it's just crazy stuff happening consistently, which is really, really cool to watch. But obviously, completely different than regular speedrunning. Yeah,
that's really interesting. That's the only human error thing that is possible is the route, I guess.
Yeah. The only human, the only limit, I guess, would be the your imagination. The only limit on those.
That was inspirational.
Wow.
Imagination.
The only limit is your imagination. You have the power to make this speedrun the best speedrun in the world.
I mean, obviously, if a trick is undiscovered, or if a trick is discovered after a task is made, then that is obviously a time loss. But you can't do anything about it because the trick is undiscovered, and just stuff like that. So yeah, routing or just you're right. The only human error you can have is just not knowing where to implement something.
Yeah, it's all muscle memory. Half of speedrunning in most of these games are muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, definitely.
But I think the reason I got into speedrunning just recently is because I used to be all into getting world records in Call of Duty Zombies, actually. I was really fascinated in getting world records in that, which included speedrunning too. And I just started getting back into it because there's no new games. I was all the new games are kind of trash, so I'm gonna revisit the old ones. The only decent game that came out recently that I haven't played is Hitman 3. But I'm just we're kind of on a dry spell right now. It's February. This is not all the good games come out towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So speedrunning is a fun option I can do, I guess. And so that's why I started getting back into it. But I still have a lot to learn. It can easily save a ton of time.
Yeah. Speaking of Call of Duty, I think that is a pretty appropriate way to transition to...
You're a transition king. Amazing. Well done.
Thank you.
Continue. That was just some praise.
Thank you.
As your co-host.
Transition to the world of more, well, I don't know if serious is the right word, but more serious competitive gaming. The ones that usually have a prize pool.
I guess a different way. I feel like a lot of the games that go into competitive gaming are hard to speedrun. like how do you speedrun Call of Duty? You know, like
Well,
this is
there
just
could be a
their-
tutorial.
oh, I guess you.
No,
can
you
speedrun
just play the campaign.
There's a campaign.
Or yeah.
Did I not?
Usually those games have some kind of
I mean,
That's
I
what
knew
my
that.
game is.
I'm a gamer. I'm a Realz gamer for Realz with a Z.
my name is after a campaign character. Named
Is it
Roach.
really?
Yep.
Huh. Well,
But
great transition, James.
the more you know, the more you know.
The more you know. Colin's parents named him after a campaign character.
No, my dad tried
I
to
know.
name me
I'm
Magnus.
just kidding.
Magnus, like the chess
Yeah,
world
Magnus.
champion.
Yeah, that actually was what it was after.
Really?
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
No
That's
way.
wow.
But my mom said no, he's gonna get bullied, and I'm like, thank God, because then Skyrim came out, and I would have been called like the Eye of Mag or whatnot for like. Now I'm just called the vacuum cleaner, but that's separate.
Wow. Yikes.
So, esports, the different style of competitive gaming, lots of teams, lots of stuff. You know, things like TSM. You know, 100 Thieves. You know,
TSM is the
Cloud9.
first one he says.
I don't know. I couldn't think of. You know. Yeah, Cloud9. You know,
Cloud9.
Kanga Esports.
FaZe?
FaZe. Anyways,
There you go. Fuck. I was like,
so
oh, sorry. I mean, you darn.
we swear all the time on this channel. It's okay. Don't worry. This is not a. If you're
That's
a kid
fucking
and you're
lit.
watching this, it's not a good word.
Hi,
Don't say that.
Nikon.
Hi.
Hi, Nico.
Shout out to Nikon. Shout out to Nikon.
Shout out
Shout
to
out to
Nico.
Nikon.
Shout out to Nikon. I think all of us. I don't know how much esports you have been involved. Not involved, but like you've followed / been a part of, James.
Yeah, I think personally I haven't followed esports quite as much as speedrunning.
Yeah.
But I would say like, I mean, as we established at the beginning, we're all gamers here.
We're gamers for
So-
reals with a Z.
We're real gamers. So I mean, esports is within the realm of gaming, and so I do like generally follow it as much as I think a general gamer would. But I definitely think esports is really cool, and it's like hearing stories of like teams that like rise to the top or fall all the way down to the bottom are really interesting. But it's just like most of the top esports games are just not games that I usually play. I think
fair. I
the
think that's
esports
fair.
I've followed the most are like Hearthstone esports, which I
Ooh.
don't follow that much because it relies so much on RNG.
That's fair.
And Super Smash Bros. Esports. I think that
Of
is that's really cool. But
I love
definitely not as much as the other two in this call.
Yeah, I would say. Colin was running tournaments for Smash Bros for a little while.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I stopped that because the community was trash. But that's a whole separate topic for another day.
But other than that, you also are maybe on a team right now. Not anymore, maybe.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you were.
competitive Call of Duty. Yeah.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
doing competitive Call of Duty.
Yeah, that was the time. I have currently stopped doing it because I
Okay.
enjoy streaming more.
Yeah.
And I was tired of the just bickering. To be honest.
Nobody here has had
I was
great
tired-
experience with esports so far. I'm gonna have to carry this this convo.
No. I've done esports for 8 years.
Yeah, you
8
were on a
years.
team like a while ago when you
was
were in
on
high
a
school.
team,
Also,
sophomore. There we go. That's
Yeah.
the right. Sophomore year, I was on a team. I went to a couple LAN events. I have a jersey from those times.
Mm-hmm.
It was MLG Anaheim, which is obviously in Anaheim, California.
Yes.
There was a local in San Jose, and there was an event in North Carolina, Charlotte.
Okay.
That I went to when I was with my grandmother for the summer. I was gone for like a month. And
That's really
that was one
epic.
of
What
the
the
things
heck?
I did. Yeah. I've done a lot of that. But I started like competing when I was like 12. That sounds pretty
Damn.
accurate. 12, 13. I remember this guy that that I'm still friends with, named Isaac. We would go. We're at JLS, and we would go to Homework Habitat, and this man drew out the maps, and we would just plan routes. He had a whiteboard, and he just drew out the map, and we would just
Damn.
plan routes and shit. And it was
Homework
crazy.
Habitat really studying up the real things.
Yeah, this is when Call of Duty Ghosts came out for like a time point. That's like 2013, but there's only 4 maps. So there wasn't a lot of like variety, so it was very easy to just draw them out on a whiteboard and just plan some tactics. Because I'm more of the mental game. I don't have I'll be honest, I don't have the best gun skill. That's like one of the big factors, is how well can you shoot. I can get by, but I'm not the best. I'm not like a Slayer. I'm more of that objective mental player. I got the mental aspect.
Yeah.
So there's 3 game modes every single season of Call of Duty, but one game mode that is consistent is called Search and Destroy. Basically, there's a bomb site. You gotta destroy it to win the round or defend it, and you have 1 life per round. Same thing as CS:GO, Valorant, all those games. Same exact concept. That's the game mode I did the best in because it's more of the mental game compared to the killing game.
Yeah.
But I was pretty involved in that for a long time until I started college, and then I quit. Actually, no, it was until senior year because King Lear happened. And I was like, this takes up all my time. And then 1X happened, and I was like, this also takes up all my time. So I had to quit. And then I went traveling for a bit. So I was like, well, this summer is chalked. And then I started college. I'm like, well, now I have to do homework all the time. Cool, and have a social life. Ha ha ha. That's cool. Party, woo! I never went to a single party, for the record.
Ooh.
Actually, that's a lie. I went to one, and I said never again because this girl tried to make out with a raccoon, but that's a separate story.
What? Okay, cool.
That's a separate story for another day. The raccoon, Ava was a cool chick, but she tried to make out with the raccoon. I don't know what that says about her.
She's a furry.
But then, what's it called? And then second year, COVID happens, and I'm like, well, it sucks. I hate staying home. So I was in the bathroom one day, and I was looking at myself, like, okay, what's wrong with you? And then I looked at my arm. I was like, oh yeah, I have a fox tattoo. So I was like, fuck it, let's start getting into Smash Bros. So then I start getting to Smash Bros again, and I enter the first tournament I enter. I'll never forget. Is the biggest tournament in esports history, I believe, in terms of participants.
Dang.
It was called The Box.
Yeah.
I believe there was 9,000 people, something ridiculous like that. It was a high number.
It was a very large tournament.
It was a very large number. This is in April.
Ridiculously large.
It was ridiculously large, yeah. And I didn't know how the website worked, so I got disqualified.
Nice.
Damn. That's tough.
That was my first. No, I didn't. No, I got DQ for winners, and then I got to losers bracket, and I was like, all right, let's get this. I was gonna play I'll never forget this. I was gonna play H-Box if I just won one game. I was like, I have to do it for the stream. I was like, I have to do it. This is this man's tournament. If I can play against the Puff, I don't even know who I was playing. It wasn't Ness, because I didn't know who my main was. It was probably like DK or King K Rule, some heavy. But then losers, I won one game, and I was like, I'm the best. And then I got absolutely smacked in the next game. I'm like, I'm trash. So that was my first tournament. I then kept doing these daily tournaments and keep getting smacked, and then I found my new main being Ness, and then Jigglypuff, because then I watched a ton of Hungry Box. But then I started getting into the tournament organizer perspective. I was like, you know what? these tournaments are kind of trash. Like these
Nice.
tournaments I'm playing are kind of bad.
Damn.
Like they
Shout out to
don't have the
HBox
best-
for hosting bad tournaments.
No, and HBox.
No. HBox, you need to improve those tournaments. They're not very good.
No, they're probably the best, but at the time he wasn't.
Yeah,
doing
but
it.
you know
At
what? The
time-
best isn't that great when you think all the tournaments are trash. So at HBox, shout out to HBox. He can improve.
Oh my goodness.
HBox. I shout out to you for replying to my DMs at one time.
To me,
He did,
not to
he replied-
HBox. To me.
Yeah, to me. But so yeah, I got into that TO aspect a little bit, and I asked Arman if he could help. He said sure. Seabass helped, and we gave that good TO perspective. But then the community just got super toxic. That showed me a whole different side of esports that I hate. Showed me the side I hate, which was a lot of huge egos. All right, big egos, huge egos, like some of the biggest unnecessary drama, weird people. Like there were like some weird people. Like I'm not gonna name drop technically, but there was this dude that was just like, I don't know how to describe him, named Teddy. That's not his actual name, so I'm not doxing him, but like Teddy. Arman knows who I'm talking about.
Yes.
That showed like a different side. And then there's this guy called Broken. And then
Yeah, he's
Chunky
actually very famous in the esports community right now because he's.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Broken is the most toxic man I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
After Chunky Kong. Chunky Kong
I remember Chunky Kong. Oh my god.
Chunky Kong's worst still to this day. And that showed me the side I hate. So that's why I discontinued
Yeah.
doing tournaments. I just couldn't deal with the toxicity anymore. I couldn't do it. So I went back to Call of Duty. So I went back to the most known toxic game known as Call of Duty. That is what I decided to do.
I think
Good.
I think League
Good
of
learning
Legends might have
experience.
more of a reputation for being toxic,
Yeah,
but
but Call of Duty's known for like the trash talk, Like,
sure, yeah, definitely.
about like Xbox game chat, you'll be playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you think of. Like that's the first thing at least I think of. But I was so bad at Smash. If we look at my Smash GG profile, I think I was like 6-28. That was like my record, like in every tournament I played. So I was like, let's go back to something I'm kind of good at. The new Call of Duty's coming out. I'm taking it. I had a surgery, so I was like, I'm taking the semester off. I got a lot of free time on my hands. Let's try it. Started working out, so we're all like, I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna take another semester off. We're gonna see if we can make this a thing. We did the Challengers Cup, which is like the amateur like qualifiers since we are in COVID.
Yeah.
We didn't qualify by one game.
Damn.
Which I was like, whatever. And then the team was all like, you know what? I'm going to have a life. I was like, okay. So I started streaming, and here we are, present day. Where
An exciting esports journey. But yeah, you've been all through the loops of it. You've been in and outs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can't say that I have competed in as many esports. I definitely follow a lot of esports. I did a brief Smash stint when I played Brawl in
Yeah,
in
weren't
my
you
freshman year.
playing tournaments like locals in Brawl?
Yeah, I was third in the county for Brawl in my freshman year.
Dang. Nice.
Get it? Was that
Yeah.
a pit?
No, I was a Game & Watch main at that point still. I was playing Game & Watch.
I mean, let's go.
Yeah. And that was fun. That was when I really liked playing Game & Watch. But then I didn't follow up on it. It was just like very difficult to I guess demand. I don't know. It not like I wasn't like practice. I mean, I was playing Smash a lot, so it wasn't like I was like I needed more time to practice or anything. I just like going to tournaments and coming back and like managing all that was like the hard part for me. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And
Yeah, I mean, like, I think there's definitely a huge connection between speedrunning and esports in that, people work really, really hard at the games they're playing.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think it's slightly different where speedrunning is trying to perfect a certain game
certain
as
one
best you
thing.
can.
Yeah.
Whereas esports, relies a lot on not like, being perfect at a game, although that certainly can help, but just like
it's a human versus human thing. You're not.
Exactly.
Yeah,
A lot of it is just like working really hard to like just practicing a lot, and just working really hard to be the best that you can against other people.
Yeah.
And there's much more like there's many more human aspects to it. Just like
there's a lot more variables.
Yeah, like strategizing against another team, or like like performing on a stage is obviously part of it. Whereas a lot of speedrunning happens in people's own homes with people's own like
environment,
devices.
Mentality is definitely a thing. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like like coaches are a thing for esports.
That's true,
and that just goes to show how much like morale plays into it, and just like generally like you mentioned, like going from tournament to tournament, like some people just like fly across the country all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, esports is awesome. I love esports, and I follow a lot of I watch a lot of esports. I watch Valorant. I don't play Valorant anymore, but I watch Valorant esports. I was watching Paladins. I have started watching Overwatch. Smash, obviously, I've watched for a long time. There's a lot of. It's a job. It's an actual job. I mean, it's a real, like, you're making money off of it, and in some cases you're not making as much money as other games. Nintendo. But we're starting a Nintendo war, ladies and gentlemen. But
their logic is so flawed.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's a job. It's an actual job. I would say sometimes it's even harder than like a normal job. Not only just because of the amount of work is more, but like there's a lot of scrutiny that goes against esports. I still think esports is like it could be shown on ESPN, and sometimes like it is, but I think that it has a I don't know what the right word is. It has a potential to be like, like, okay, Sunday night football, all right, it's Monday night, Overwatch or something. Like,
yeah,
I think that's very possible,
Yeah, I mean, like, esports are more than, just a game between two people. Like, they're like legitimate
battles of wits and competition.
Morale, like fitness, like that, like it all applies to esports. And like esports athletes work almost well, I don't know for sure, but like I would say they work just as hard as like regular sports athletes.
Yeah, of course, and in a different way, I mean, most esports players aren't out there like running laps or anything. I mean, I don't know how many 100-meter dashes you did when you were in COD Esports, Colin, but I'm gonna guess it's not as many as the football team. But that doesn't mean that you weren't. I mean, I know, Colin, and you could talk about this, but like your training for that was like a lot of time. There was a lot of time that you had to put in just running scrims and stuff.
Yep, sophomore year, you can ask anyone I knew, basically Advent. Sophomore year, junior year, not much of me was seen. I wasn't really seen that much. I kind of was just off the radar. I went to class, I did theater. I was like lit, and then I just went home, played the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
How did I pass gun high school doing that? Fuck if I know, but here now. Look at me now, Dr. Mellows. Look at me now.
I was recently asked to be a coach for a Paladins team. Not a big one, just like a small team, like some friends were putting together a team.
Huh? No more esports for Paladins. That's
there's a bunch of local tournaments. There's no esports sponsored by the Paladins game anymore, but there's like local tournaments.
I feel like you would be a really good coach because you say this, not me, just for the record, that you don't like shooters. You're not the top-notch shooter. You like projectile characters.
Yeah, I'm not good at shooters. I'd like to say I'm pretty okay at Paladins. But I understand like the inner workings. But besides the point,
great with projectile characters, so that's why. that's
true.
why it's kind of perfect. Because
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I was like, Arman, would you play some Call of Duty games with me? He's like, sure. Is there a projectile character? I said, nope.
Like, no, there's a AR-15, and I was like,
Yeah,
that's
there's
not
an
a
AR-15.
projectile.
There's some grenades. I guess you can just throw grenades.
Yeah, I can just
and
throw
pray they get a
grenades.
kill.
That'd be great. No, but they asked me to coach, and I was like, sure. Like, what's the time commitment? They were like, oh, you need to watch our like 6 hours of scrims every day for like 5 or 6 days a week. And I was like, I would love to do this, but that is a lot to ask of me. Hey, wow, everybody, guess what? It's our next guest, another guest on the podcast. Look at that.
Congrats. But yeah, I mean, like, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah.
The
like,
amount of time.
I mean, like, top level esports, like, you know, people can make a ton of money. You know, like I remember a couple of years back, like, you know, like people talk about how professional athletes, you know, make a decent chunk of money. But I remember a few years back, there was like big news over how like this like 14-year-old kid or whatever won a Fortnite tournament and like got like
$3 million.
Yeah, $3 million. Really crazy.
Insane.
And that's when like people were like started like being like, okay, like esports can like actually be a career for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was crazy. Honestly, as much shit as Fortnite gets, the tournaments were actually super fascinating to watch because they were very intense. Like there was so much mental game and you know, keyboard. There's so much skill involved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that type of game. I'll be honest. I liked Fortnite in the early days where, you know, people built one wall to hide behind, and I can just shoot them. But now
yeah, the
I got
meta has
people
definitely changed.
Yeah, now I got people building the Leaning Tower of Pisa in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, shout out to Nikon. Nikon does a little bit of competitive Fortnite. Watching him play that game is nuts. It's nuts. I'm just watching, like, if you watch the screen, you're like, oh, okay, it's just Minecraft, but in 10 times speed. Then you look at his hands on his keyboard. He's just, like, clicking around, like, doing all this, like, arrow keys and just moving around, flicking around, putting walls up, putting different shapes up. He knows which shape he's putting where. It's wild. It's a lot of, I mean.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is that he's probably doing that when he hears one gunshot across the map. He might not even be getting shot at, and he'll just do that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm ready. Where they at?
It's crazy. and again, it's a lot of effort to learn that, obviously. Is it more or less effort than, okay, a football player puts into, I don't know, running plays, running drills? I don't think those are comparable. I think those are both just very impressive feats that, you know, are.
I will say this.
Yeah.
People say that it's not really, you know, how can you get tired from playing a game like that? I'll be honest, if you're scrimming for 4 hours, like constantly, your brain is fried by the end of that, most likely.
Yeah, if you do anything for a long period of time, of course you're going to be super tired. Like, people get tired of sitting in a chair alone for 1 hour. Like, how are you going to get tired of that? Like, okay, yeah.
Esports especially, because you gotta like worry about the spawns and stuff like that. You gotta try and manipulate the spawns. Gotta worry about the time and whatnot. At least for Call of Duty, the kills become a big factor.
Yeah.
There's a game mode where it's kill dependent, so that's a big one. League of Legends is also like, I didn't want to bring up League of Legends that much, but I did see.
How dare you? It's banned on the podcast. You knew it. And
ESPN, you were talking about that. I actually was going ESPN and League of Legends was on my TV at some point.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Which really
I know. I think
shocked me.
Nickelodeon or something was like streaming, like when Nintendo had Splatoon, was running Splatoon tournaments. They were streaming.
Wow! Imagine Nintendo supporting esports. Wow.
Yeah.
LOL.
League of Legends, you mean?
But, yeah. So League of Legends, I had no idea what was going on the screen, but. Now that I'm like kind of playing against bots and still trash, I'm kind of starting to understand that big mental game because, you know, it's split up into. The most baseline you can break it down is top, mid, and bottom lane. There's 3 lanes. One person goes to each. One person goes in the jungle, and the other person just kind of alternates. So that's like the basics. But then like you play the game, and Arman's played, and like we've had people that just don't go to like top lane, for example, and you'll just have to adapt. Yeah, I've had a lot of times when I go bottom lane and my team's like, I want to go bottom lane too. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I guess I'll go top. On top character.
Like, for these games, like teamwork and communication cannot be understated. You know, like one of the like OG esports like CS:GO, I know is like so big on like communicating with your team as to exactly where the opponents are, and like just watching out every single moment for your opponents, and it's just as big as, you know, your marksmanship or your weapon choices, you know.
How well you can communicate with your team.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I think it's people who argue, I guess, that like it's just a game, like how can it be a profession? Obviously it's not a profession. Like you get, like, it's different. It's different in the way of like being an athlete, which is, yes, but they are also playing a game. I mean, football was not made to be a profession as an athlete. Football was made because people were having fun. And then people started competing at higher and higher levels until finally, boom, it became a professional sport. And so, and the same thing with like, even like if you don't want to look at like football or basketball, look at chess. I mean, chess is something that, especially recently, it's been popping off.
Curling.
Like, yeah, I mean,
and like,
go on.
You know, like people, and like when you think of traditional sports, you think of like people like in a like Coliseum or stadium, not Coliseum, or in a stadium, like
gladiator
filling
fighting, my favorite
every
sport.
seat and just like rooting for their favorite team. But like you think about it, and it's like esports has a huge audience as well. Like,
oh yeah,
not only just for like regular stadiums, but like online streams that stream esports, like. There's been some streams that like break records for like you know, most amount of people watching a certain sport, and it's just like esports clearly has a huge fan base.
Oh yeah, I think it will just take some time for it to, like, I guess, sink in. It definitely will take a transition, but I think it has every right to be at that level. I think also something interesting that I was just thinking about is that some games, I mean, they like football, the rules, or like I'm just using football as an example here. But like football, basketball, the rules like never really change. Like they'll change from time to time. But like some games will have balance patches, and or maybe the following for it will die out. Like take Overwatch for example. Overwatch was a humongous esport when it came out, or around the time that it came out. And now it's not as big of a following at all. But you look at football from like 100 years ago to now, it's, you know, it's still up there. It's still very, very popular. I think that's another thing that makes it hard for esports to become, I guess, more professionally recognized, is that it does come and go. Like games will come and go is a thing to consider. Certain games will have huge followings, and certain games will just not have those followings.
Yeah, an esport that like actually fascinates me, because when I started getting to Dead by Daylight, I was like, "Is there an esport for this?" And Ray's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How?" He's like, that's the team. The team consists of 4 survivors, 1 killer. And how scrims work is you'll have the killer from some other team will scrim those 4, and then you 4 scrim, you know, the other team's killer. I was like, wow. That's
pretty cool.
Wow. I thought it's just a game about just, you know, having fun. Nice little horror game about killing people. Nope. Competitive as well, just like everything else. There's probably competitive city skylines for all I know.
Competitive. I was thinking about, this is going way back to our speedrunning chat, but I was thinking about like what an Animal Crossing speedrun looks like, and I was looking it up a little bit.
Animal Crossing speedruns are like Yeah, they're like some of the longest speedruns
You have to make like a
out
whole
there.
new account though, too. That's like kind of annoying.
Yeah.
That's really frustrating. Well, now you got me interested. Now I'm gonna look at that. I didn't even think about Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
I will
so
say-
the first Animal Crossing debt speedrun is 12 minutes and 46 seconds. Which is crazy. And there's also if you have the New Horizons Joy-Cons, that's a part of the category as well. All debts is an hour and 17 minutes as a speed run, so
Yep.
that's crazy.
All golden tools is 29 hours, 16 minutes.
That's so difficult. Credits is about 2 hours. Yeah, that's crazy.
Some poor lad it's 2 hours, and then you see this poor chap has 15 hours.
Yeah, I just saw the 15 hours flat. I was like, damn.
Oh,
rough.
poor lad.
Oh,
The
man.
poor guy.
I
He
love
probably
being
saved
on
some time.
speedrun websites and then seeing like all the speedruns are like around like okay like the 1 hour mark or whatever, and then there's one dude with like 7 hours or 8 hours, and you're like,
Yeah, and the poor lad
me
at the
too, man,
bottom.
me too. That me and you are in the same boat, buddy.
What's League of Legends? There's a League of Legends speedrun.
I think
Really?
it's probably tutorial.
Probably the tutorial as well.
It says 100%. Yeah, the
What?
tutorial. Epic Monster. Lose. Scuttle Crab. Howling Abyss. Trinity Force. 50 kills. 1v0. 1v5. XV5.
Crazy.
This is...
Yeah, there's a lot of categories for this. Gosh dang.
Yeah. And it like splits down to the seasons. Like, that's crazy to me. Sorry, now I'm like looking at all of them.
Colin's about to become a League of Legends speedrunner.
Oh god. 'Cause I would have to record. Yeah, God no. There's a Rainbow Six Siege speedrun.
Insane.
which is
James, have
kind
you
of
ever
insane.
like wanted to compete in like I don't know if there's any games that you play that like would be esports, like I guess other than like speedrunning possibilities, which like I know esports teams sign speedrunners all the time. I know Panda just has signed Simply and Small Ant, who are the Odyssey world record holders in the 64.
Simply's a Super Mario 64.
Yeah,
runner.
Simply 64.
Small Ant is a
Small Ant is
Odyssey.
Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play Hearthstone a while back. But I definitely was nowhere near a competitive level. And I mean, I just lost fun in it at some point, so I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, I played Smash casually with friends sometimes. I think those are like the only two games that I've ever played that like really could have been in an esport.
That's fair.
Yeah, I have not had much experience with competing at top levels for games like that.
There's a Clash of Clans speedrunning category.
Oh man.
What is it? What are you supposed to do? I'll put these up on screen. I'll try and remember and put these up on screen.
You
so
want to know
look at it,
one
you
of the
guys.
craziest? I'm looking at Finish Battle Builder's Base. The world record, 5 seconds.
Nice.
5 seconds. 1 million loot, 9 seconds. Town Hall, any percent, 57 seconds.
Your fingers have to be flying for that to happen. I don't think my fingers
Town
can even
Hall,
move that
100%,
fast.
53 minutes. That's crazy. Oh, because you can use gems. I just thought about that.
You can use what?
You can use gems to speed up the time.
Oh, like pay to win?
Yeah, it is pay to win. That's crazy though. You fuck up a run.
Pay to speed run. We get it.
Luigi's
Pay to
Mansion.
speed
Now
run.
that's a game I would love to speed run.
Oh
What
yeah,
game?
Luigi's Mansion runs are super cool actually.
That seems like a lot of fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
But I haven't played the game normally because I don't have a GameCube. Apex Legends has some speed runs. Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
This is a question that I saw on Twitter a while ago. But if you guys could be like competitively cracked at like one game, what game would it be? Like any game. Like not a game that like maybe you've always loved, or like maybe a game that you always wanted to get into but you never thought you would. Like what is the game that you would want to be super super good at?
I think honestly, I think the best option for me would probably be Super Mario 64, just because that game has gotten like so big at this point. The speedrunning scene, where like they actually host, like there's been a couple competitions hosted.
They have like charity invitationals and stuff where they have them face off.
Yeah, but like not only like charity stuff, but like there's been competitions where like people have won a couple like $1,000 for
like actual game. Like competition. No,
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like a super cool game that, well, A, I've always like wanted to play, and B, I think it's super cool. But not only that, like you could make money from it, which
of course.
And that's why I think it would be pretty.
That's a big goal for you.
yeah, of course.
James is all about the buckaroos. Colin, what about you? If you could be cracked at one, it'd be esports, it'd be speedrunning. What would you want it to be?
I've been looking at these speedruns, seeing if I can find the game that I would want. Honestly, the game that I would love to like be good at speedrunning, which I might give it a chance pretty soon, hint, twinkle. Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, interesting.
Is a very fun speedrun game.
Okay.
That I would like to, dabble in a little bit, here and there. Competitively, I don't know. I wish I was just good at Call of Duty in general. I feel like that would be, pretty good. Fortnite in like the earlier days wouldn't be that bad. I actually would like that. I'm talking like the early days, like not like when Galactus wasn't a thing.
Galactus.
That was an interesting. Fortnite. I gotta say, that's gotta be one of the most interesting things
crossovers
ever. Yeah, that was a weird crossover. Yeah, Iron Man showed up. I was like, you get Robert Downey.
Everybody's in Fortnite these days, dude. Chun-Li and Ryu just got into Fortnite.
Oh yeah, Chun-Li's in there.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Chun-Li's in there, freaking
I don't know why. Does it upset you guys? I mean, I don't know, but like I don't know why it doesn't upset me like I'm so mad, but like I just every single time like a favorite character of mine gets announced for Fortnite, I'm just like like I don't know if that's just me, but I'm like when Chun-Li got announced for Fortnite, I was like I really want this to end. I was like, I can't take this anymore.
I mean, it's just like kind of weird,
It's like, kind of weird, but it's just like I hate the concept of knowing that like people will be like, yeah, I love Chun-Li. It's like, oh yeah, you like Street Fighter, you like fighting games? No, I play her in Fortnite all the time, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that's me gatekeeping. Maybe that's me being a douchebag and gatekeeping. But I
wouldn't say it's gatekeeping. That's like being like, yeah, I like the Mandalorian. Yeah, he's in Fortnite.
Oh yeah, the Mandalorian is in Fortnite. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That would be pretty bad. Sorry, I'm looking at all these speedrun games. We got Shrek 2, The Little Mermaid.
Shrek 2.
I think for me, probably, if it was a speedrun game, I think it would probably be Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4. I wish I could be just like, I would love to be the best in the world at Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4.
Speedrunning, I wish I just knew how to do the glitches. I wish I could just run Arkham City. Honestly, just run the game.
That's a different. That's why I want a new fixed console, a new game that runs properly.
Why is Chippendale Rescue Rangers so high on this list? I'm trying to figure that out. What's Civ 5 speedruns? Oh
my. If I had to,
Civ speedruns are like, I think, just trying to get a certain ending as soon as possible. All
victories? Oh my gosh. All victories? Domination victory, 8 seconds.
Oh yeah, because I think those like allow you to have like a preset like cast, and like you just like put yourself and like one other civilization, and then you just capture their only settler.
80% victory, everyone's tied for first place. I see 20 people tied for first place. The world record is 0.033 milliseconds.
Yeah. I think it's just like people set it so it's just you and one of those civilization, and
That's
then
insane.
That's so funny.
Have you ever seen a Clue speedrun? They're just about the same length.
Really? Like the board game Clue?
Well, there's a video game from 1998 called Clue, and it's based on the board game.
Yeah.
And how it works is like you can how in the game like you have to figure out who killed who with like.
Can you just make it two players and it's obviously the other person?
Well, the way it works is like you play against like a host of like AIs, but what you do is just like you randomly accuse a random person and a random weapon, and just because there's like such a small like cast of characters and weapons, like one in like I don't know every 50 times you'll get it correct if you just like guess it.
That's sick. That's actually kind of crazy.
And so like the records are like half a second because it's just random guessing.
That's so
it's really funny.
This record 0.583 milliseconds. He just randomly accuses somebody. He just prays.
Yeah.
Why are there so many weird games? This blows my mind.
I mean, video games are a huge genre, man.
Yeah, speedrunning, again, it's just like I feel like for Clue, like I don't think anybody's like, I love the original Clue. I'm gonna speedrun this game to enjoy it. I think probably somebody was just like, this is funny, or like, I can do this.
I got Google Snake Game has 75 active players right now trying to do records and shit. Like they have the page up. That's crazy to me. I got Google. Where's like the Google jumping game? Is that like?
The dinosaur game?
Oh yeah.
Where's the dino?
Well, actually, it's an auto scroller, so I don't know if it is.
I'm sure there's like to get to a certain. Well, actually, no. There's no way you can go faster.
Spelunky has a lot of active people right now.
Oh yeah, the Spelunky speedrunning
speed
scene is kind of huge.
Yeah.
Any percent. The record is 1 minute 37 seconds.
Yeah, the any percent Spelunky speedrun is actually just insane. It's
impossible to keep up with. There's no way to watch it and be like, oh, I understand. I'm gonna do that now. There's no way. First of all, there's RNG. Second of all, it's actually dizzying.
Oh yeah, I would probably not do too great at that if it's dizzying. But yeah, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. That's the one that has a ton of following right now. I don't know why. Agario has an active following.
How do you speedrun Agario?
10 deaths? What does that mean? Does it mean you die 10 times or you get 10 kills?
I guess so. This podcast has just turned into what's the wackiest speedruns imaginable.
Wackiest. That's the title. The title's gonna be wackiest speedruns ever. Watch till the end.
Sorry, I just got so fascinated.
No worries.
I mean, yeah, it's
a
just
fascinating.
Crazy seeing what's random.
There's a crazy, scenes and stuff.
Yeah. But Minecraft is currently the most active one.
Is it really? Wow.
Yep.
Which doesn't surprise me. James said that Super Mario 64. I was like, yeah, but I think Minecraft will.
I think Super Mario 64 overall, like over time.
Overall, yeah, but I think Dream has really.
Oh yeah, no. Dream infused so much activity into.
Yeah, he really pushed the Minecraft speedrunning, and he brought it out in like so many random people, because it kind of is, if you get the world record, and probably is insta fame, not gonna lie, like it's literally.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's why everyone's going for it. Like
I don't know if either of you guys saw, but the other day I was talking to Chloe about the new record for 1.16 for Minecraft speedrunning. It's not verified on the leaderboards yet, but the record is 12 minutes and 12 seconds. Like, imagine just loading into a random world, and 12 minutes later, you beat the Ender Dragon. It's really
That's
crazy.
nuts. actually like doesn't make sense in my brain.
But James, could you imagine being a speedrunner in Roblox, escape the dentist obby?
I don't know why Roblox is so popular, like, for speedrunning, but
Why does this one have 200 people that are active? It's in the top 10 active ones. Is Roblox
Wow.
escape the dentist obby?
I don't know. I mean, I guess Roblox is a really popular game, so a lot of people like speedrunning it, but I don't know.
Yeah, Lil Nas X had a concert in Roblox.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
I can't believe I missed that. I'm so sad.
You're so taken away by not being in it. That sucks.
Hey, you know what time it is? You know what time I think it is? I'm looking at my watch right now. Look at this big watch I got. Guys, you know what watch I got recently? It's Wonder Woman themed. It's after the invisible jet because it's invisible, but I can tell the time. And you know what time it is?
Time to.
It's time for our sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. Today's sponsor is actually from the lovely folks over at Twitch. They've got lots of esports and speedruns and other just chatting, maybe like mukbang, but maybe in particular you like Arkham speedruns. In particular, you like a man raging at Cuphead. In particular, you like some Borderlands 3. In particular, you like alt accounts. XBLRoach today is sponsoring the stream. XBLRoach, sign up. Not sign up, but subscribe. Follow. Following is free. Subscribe with Twitch Prime. If you've got Amazon Prime, if your mom has Amazon Prime, just steal her credit card. Just steal her credit card. It's okay. When she knows what you've done with it, she'll understand. In fact, I bet your mom is sub to XBLRoach on Twitch right now. What's the link? It's XBLRoach. Just look up XBLRoach on Twitch. Just follow. Give him a follow. That's our sponsor for today. And with us here, actually, is XBLRoach. Do you have anything else to add? That's great. Thanks, XBLRoach. Go ahead and give him a follow, give him a sub, and also comment below how many times you've followed and subbed. Make a bunch of accounts. Make 10 different accounts. Follow on each of those accounts.
Please don't do that.
Follow him 10 times. You can do it. I bet you can do it. How many times do you think they can do it, James? I bet they can do it 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's our sponsor.
With that, I think that is a pretty good indication of a successful podcast.
I think podcasting has never been more successful than this podcast. Right here, this one. Most successful one ever. This is the best podcast of all time. See? Nobody's disputing my facts. Colin, XBLRoach, thank you for joining us. This was a great topic, and you're a well-versed man in it. Where can they find you if they want to hear more from you?
If you want to hear more from me and my random ranting, go to twitch.tv/XBLRoach.
Wow, our sponsor.
Yeah, wow, it's just so convenient. I stream every weeknight, starting at 8 p.m.
So many nights.
Time. Yep, 5 nights a week, 5 nights at Freddy's.
You can see me. I'll be in the stream.
5 nights at Freddy's. Let's go.
5 nights at Freddy's.
Hey, 5 nights at Freddy's speedruns exist as well, I think.
They do. Yep. Arman is a lurker in my stream. But
I'm there. I'm modding. I'm doing the mod thing. It's great. And links for that will be below. You have Twitter? You can follow him at Twitter. He posts so many funny things on Twitter.
I don't recommend following my Twitter.
He posted a funny meme on Twitter. It was so funny. There was a funny dabbing rhino. It was dabbing real hard. And you can find us. James, where can they find us?
They can find us right here.
You've already found us! Good job! Well done. Hit the subscribe button.
Congratulations.
If you haven't subscribed yet. What the heck are you doing? Probably not subscribing. Comment below something. Just anything. Just do it. It pays the bills. Well, that's the show. That's the podcast.
Get you by.
James, any final words as usual?
Make sure to speed that run.
The Absolute Idiot Podcast.